anything other than a World Series is going to be, it is going to be a failure. In my head, I'm like, eh. But for them, I think that they've shown that they can get there with the team that they have.
Hey, we have team shows in the Foul Territory Network for about half the teams now.
Damn,
So
look at that
who's
beard.
joining us with that big
What
boy
a beard
right now. Yeah, Austin Jackson, newest host of Tiger Territory, joining us. Wow, and it's just perfect. It's so symmetrically inclined. I love it. I didn't know you were bringing that to the table right now. Ajax, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It blends in with the shirt, so you can't see the strings in it and all that. It takes a little work. It takes a little work in the morning.
I mean, Jax. I mean, are you passing a drug test right now, Jax? I mean, I know you're not playing anymore. You looking huge with that beard,
Come on now, Kraz.
like John Jones.
Come on, man. Hey, it's all this work out here on the farm, bro, to get you right.
Is that what was it corn and okra season this year?
Hey, I'm belling hay, brother. Come on now.
All right, so give us the lowdown, though. So now you're hosting Tiger Territory with the guys over there, with Kieran and Cody. So tell us how your first experience went and your thoughts on the 2025 Detroit Tigers.
It was a great experience, man. We got a chance to sit down a little bit before and just kind of hash some things out and just talk about, the upcoming, episodes and just bringing me in and just kind of getting some insight on, my playing experience and things like that. And just, I'm fortunate to be not too far removed from the game, and I still have a little insight that I think that I can bring. And also, be able to watch some of the, upcoming games and kind of give some feedback and some things that, from my own experience that what's going on now. But it's an awesome time. I was excited when they hit me up, to jump on the opportunity and just looking forward to see what I can bring. But, I'm also excited to see what these young Tigers can bring, man. I think they got a little squad. They kind of established identity for themselves. And, I think everybody's kind of excited to see where this group can, how they can grow after a year like they had. I'm not really sure anybody expected it. But like I said, they have established the identity for themselves. And I think that it's going to be awesome to see where this group can go, seeing who they're gonna add, who they're gonna add to this group that can help them grow from the year they had last year.
Listen, as somebody that wasn't a huge Tiger fan for almost all of his career, can they do it again? Can they do this again? Can they do this again? Because you look at how they ended up doing this. Yes, they have Scooble, who was unbelievable for them. But, I mean, you ask A.J. Hinch about it, and he was like, yeah, we're just going to mix and match and pray and hope and, flip a coin on who's going to pitch. Can they do this again and get to the postseason and make another run like they did? Because it was amazing to watch.
I mean, yeah, this is the thing. Like I said, they established the identity for themselves. And I think that when you really get out there and you see who you are, hey, this is what we're capable of doing. Anything else is considered a failure. And I actually remember hearing Verlander say that one time, kind of just, in an interview saying that anything other than a World Series is going to be, it is going to be a failure. In my head, I'm like, eh. But for them, I think that they've shown that they can get there with the team that they have. And, they're young and they're hungry. So I think they're definitely capable of doing it again. There's just so many, moving pieces and things that need to go right. Obviously health and who's hot at the right time. But I think they've shown themselves that they can get there with the group that they have, with the core group they have. So I think they're definitely capable of doing it again.
All right, minus Tarek Skubal. Who's the guy on this squad? Who's the guy on this team that is going to have to take the next step? Because they didn't make it last year. It wasn't enough. They have a good team, but it wasn't enough. Who's the guy that's going to take the next step to push this team to the World Series and win the World Series?
Are you talking about did they currently have or who they need to pick up?
Okay. Either way.
I mean, I'm just saying it kind of who they have. Well, Torkelson, like you mentioned, is a guy that, what's going to be his role? I know I've heard you say that he's going to get traded, but I mean, I think there's plenty of potential there, and room for him to try to prove himself again. If that's an opportunity he's going to have again, I think he could be a really. I mean, because they kind of invested a lot in him. I think that they expected him to kind of be that guy and kind of man that position. So hoping that he's able to prove himself again. I think that he definitely can be a guy to step up. But Green, I mean, hey, this dude he's a beast, man. I think watching him and seeing his growth, watching him in the playoffs, and just seeing how composed he was, seeing some of the swings he was taking, the damage he was trying to do. I mean, this guy is, made the All-Star team. I think he's definitely the catalyst that kind of makes that team go. So I'm really interested to see what his growth is going to take on this next year, especially after the year they had. He can definitely be a guy that, leads this group.
Jack, so I want to spend a few minutes with you on Miguel Cabrera, since you played with the legend, and apparently he had a little say in Gleyber Torres making his decision to sign with the Detroit Tigers. So give me the goods on what it was like to play with Miggy. You really had him as a teammate during his prime years. So what was it like to watch? But then also, what was it like to be around him? My experiences around Miggy are always like, oh, sure, you want to learn how to be a great ball player, you just do this. And for everyone else, they're like, yeah, my this is not the same as your this.
Yeah, man, you hit it right on the head, man. I always question, I always try to figure out, I'm like, was Miggy like this Albert Einstein of baseball, or was were the things he was actually telling me, was it just that simple? Or did he just think that my brain and the way I thought couldn't handle how technical he really was? Like, this dude would tell me things, and I'm like, dude, just keep it tight, puppy. Just keep it tight. What is that? That's not it, Miggy. You're not telling me to keep it tight and dry. I do that, and that's a single over the second baseman's head. That's a ball in the 10th row for you in right center field. This dude he was amazing to watch, because I think people don't realize, he was a really good hitter, first. He was a hitter with power. There's power hitters, there's hitters, and there's hitters with power. I think Miggy was a true hitter that was blessed, obviously, with size, but watching his BP, watching his routine each and every day, it was amazing. It really lets you know the work and the time that this dude really put in, that people don't get to see. It's really behind the scenes work that he put in, that I, was fortunate enough to be able to watch on a day in and day out basis, that really made, me understand, this dude is a once in a generation type dude. He's a generational talent. And, just being around him, seeing the person he was on a daily basis really made it even that much more sweeter, because he was just a clown, just like everybody else. He loved to, crack jokes. He loved to keep it loose. He loved to keep the clubhouse loose, loved to dance, loved to sing. Everything that you kind of wanted out of a guy like that, he was. And that's what made him, a special player. The fact that he not only was a great baseball player, but he was really a great human being as well. So,
all right, listen, if I obviously got to play against Miguel Cabrera for a lot of years, and I had to face him 19 times a year, and he got a lot of hits. And I just want to know, was he always as unserious as he seemed? Because, you're telling these stories about him. Every time he came up, he was joking. You look at him at first base, he's trying to push you off the. It was he was like a 4-year-old. I'm like, Miggy, we're in the middle of a pennant race here, and you're trying to push me off the base. And then you're like, I got you, Poppy. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to grind through an at bat off Verlander. I get on first and trying to figure out, oh man, I got Verlander. Was that just how he was? Because I never. And then he come up the next at bat, and you think, oh, he's going to be joking, and he give you the death stare, and you're like, oh man, now he wants to fight. Which one was it?
Hey, that was Miggy, though. That's the thing that I think everybody's trying to figure out, about Miggy. I mean, he wasn't he wasn't this just serious person all the time. It was all business. I think he knew when to turn it on, when to turn it off. But that was him. Like seriously, that was him all the time. Like there'd be times where you know what, you didn't go up to Miggy that day. You know, you could tell there was just a seriousness. There was just a different calmness about you know, his mannerisms that day. And you're like, okay, it's probably not the day. But a lot of the days he was the one coming up to you, you know, trying to lift your spirits up, trying to keep you, you know, joking with a smile on your face. So that was honestly like what you're saying. That's why I'm laughing so hard, because that was Miggy. That was Miggy like all the time, like in a coaches meeting or, you know, in a meeting when we're in there trying to, you know, go over there, you know, pitching, who's pitching that night and have a plan. You know, we're in there serious. You know, maybe, you know, one of the pitching coach or the manager, you know, he says something wrong and, you know, you cut your eyes and look at Miggy, you like, oh, like Miggy, don't look at me right now, bro. Like, don't, you know, like that's the dude. Don't look at him in a meeting because you're gonna laugh and you're gonna get in trouble. Like that was Miggy. That was Miggy like all the time. He's a jokester, man, but on that field, he knew when to turn it on, and you know that's what the great ones can do. So.
All right, you had one of the best agents of all time to get contracts, but sometimes he gets a little bit of Boris gets a little bit of ire at this time of year when you have a Bregman, when you have a Pete Alonso. How did you handle those free agent times? I get it, you weren't doing it like those guys are doing it, but you had your times. What is something that fans don't know about Boris during this time? Because everyone's like, well, why doesn't Boris just let Bregman come and sign with my team? Or, you know, why has he got to hold out? And, you know, why can't he just let us get the best players?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I definitely wasn't one of those guys. So, I mean, I was more on the bottom of the chopping block. You know, it was like, hey, you know, this is what's left. You know, everybody done ate. This is kind of what you got, brother. So, you know, I wasn't one of those guys, but I do know that, you know, the experience, at least, you know, for me and guys maybe that are in my position, I mean, it's tough because it's a waiting game, and you can, you know, it's stressful. You know, I know you mentioned it earlier, AJ, like, you know, where am I need to get, like, there's too many things. You know, you got the wifey asking you questions. You got, you know, the family. Where are you going to be? You don't know. So, you know, being patient, really the biggest thing I think too is, you know, staying on top of your training and your work and your workouts and all that, like the things that you would normally do. Like, don't get distracted by, you know, all the things that the process is going on. Like I really had to make sure that I was, you know, staying on top of everything and making sure that I was, you know, getting those workouts in, make sure I was still eating right, doing everything, because the time is going to come for those guys. You know, it's just more of the right situation. You know, money makes it. Hey, money is a big thing, right? You know, in these decisions. So, you know, sometimes you're making a decision based off, you know, the contract. You know, and sometimes it's where do you want to play on the East Coast or West Coast? You know, some guys have the ability to do that. So. You know, there's so much that goes, you know, along with, especially being a Boris client, that you might have a little bit more insight, maybe, but at the same time, when you know, when the options are limited, you know, you make a decision based on what's best for you and your family and something you're comfortable with. So.
Last one, we've got a super chat fan question from Ref here in the YouTube chat, and he basically told everyone to look up your 2017 catch at Fenway Park. There it is. He's like, can you please explain to everyone the time that you made that amazing play in Boston, went over the wall? I just watched it back again to remember it. It's like not just the catch, the way that you orchestrated your arm to kind of soften the landing. I don't know. You give us the play-by-play on it. We'll cut this together and show it to everyone on social media later too. But what do you have for us on that one? What do you remember?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. That play, like, you don't realize how much things are in slow motion, you know, and during times like that, like I can remember like little small details, like, you know, looking at the who was pitching in the bullpen, like looking at fans' faces, looking at the dirt, looking at the grass as you're going down. But the biggest thing I remember, no joke, is when Torrey Hunter went over the wall when he tried to catch David Ortiz's grand slam, and I saw he did not grab that wall. And I saw I saw the way he looked when I ran over there, and I was like, that's not what I want to look like. So I grabbed the wall. Like, that was honestly what, like, yeah, I'm going to catch the ball, but I'm thinking my legs just got swiped, grab that wall, because you don't want to look how Torrey looked when you ran over there. That is something that was literally going through my brain at that moment. Like, grab the wall. Don't look like that. So the everything slows down. You have so much time to think about stuff in like a split second. And another thing too was really kind of proving that I could still go get it. I had to prove a lot that year that I was coming off an injury and MCL injury, and so I had to really I had to prove that was a prove it year, at least in my mind, to show that hey, I could still go get it in center field. So it was one of those plays that I felt for a little bit after that, though. I could tell you that.
What you just described is the difference between a pro athlete and an average Joe. In your head is a catch that is made at a different time and how you should stick the landing differently and hold on to the wall.
First of all, Torrey didn't catch it.
He did not.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
But by the way, I'm going to call Torrey.
You're right.
I'm going to call Torrey and tell him that Austin Jackson was making fun of him on our show. If you get a call from Torrey later, if Torrey, you get a call from Torrey later, you know why.
Yeah, but think about this.
Torrey, tell him. He'll tell you. I walked over. I was like, T, that ain't a good look for you, brother. You need to get up. Get up.
Wait, but you're doing that. He's noticing the bullpen, the crowd, the grass, whatever. If you put an average Joe out there for a play like that, this is what's going on in their head.
True.
And nothing else.
But it does happen. I mean, I never caught a ball jumping over a wall, but you'd be amazed how quick, like what Austin said, your brain can go like a million things can run through your brain like that. Like he was probably going back and he's thinking Torrey looked like a fool when the cop did the whole thing, right?
Yes.
He's like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna look smooth. I'm gonna come back. Everyone's gonna be cheering me even though I'm in Boston.
That's the good stuff.
They
did. Everyone was tipping their cap. You robbed Hanley Ramirez on that play, who I totally forgot about that whole little stint. But anyway, Austin, this was awesome, man. Great to have you on. Congrats on joining the FT Network fam. Excited to hear you on Tiger territory throughout the season for appearances with Kieran and Cody. There they are. That's how people can get involved with the show. Check out the YouTube channel. Follow it on Apple or Spotify. Brand new show that was launched in October when the Tigers were making their run. So, Jax, great to see you, man.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.